Good morning once again. Today we're going to have a brief review of what we have discussed the past meeting, where we learned how to import a data set. So it's best to work in an R project. You just load the files that you need in the R project for easy access. So I loaded here the wage that data set, and I'm going to load it to my R. So I'm creating this object called wage. I'm going to use the read underscore CSV. So in order for that to be accessible, let's make sure that the packages that we need are loaded. Okay, so the packages that we need are, okay, so let me just include here tidyverse, okay, psych, base text, also, let's add scheme R, also hmisc. Okay, what else? Broom, we can use broom. Okay, so these are the packages that we need. There are other packages that we need and we'll just load them as we go along. So I'm going to use the pacman package to load these packages. So let me first just uh, use the library because I have already installed this. I will not install that anymore. By way of review, if you haven't installed that package, you can just run install that packages or go to tools here, install packages, and then run here, write here pacman and then install. Okay, so you only install once unless you're going to update the package. Okay, so you have to update it. So after you install the package, you can now load it. Okay, and here I'm going to use the pacman package to automatically load these packages. Let me run this. Oops, my wrong spelling, tidyverse ko. Tidyverse, all right. So run, all right, so it's running now, and it's installing these packages. Psych, not installing, but loading. If it's not installed, then it will install it. Psych, pastex, OLSRR, Stargazer, tidyverse, schemr, hmisc, and broom. Okay, and yeah, I think I forgot something also. Let's also install descriptive tools. Desk tool. Is it desk tools? Let me just put it here. All right, so desk tools. Kindly include that, please. Descriptive tools. Okay, and kindly chat, please, if you are able to load the packages already. Give you a few seconds, class. Just to be sure and to save on time, I'll put this in the chat box for easy reference. Okay, once again, class, kindly please give me feedback if you have loaded these packages. Okay, thank you. Waiting for the others. Thank you, LJ. Thank you, Migs. There's no package called desk tools. So try natin to install separately, no? LJ. Go to tools, install package, and then desk tools. Try here sa ano sa install.packages and then install. Tapos pabigay ng feedback, no, kung nagawa na. About the rest, class? Okay, thank you. Let's give a few more seconds to the others. I don't think 50% have already responded. Okay, thank you. Okay, LJ, were you able to resolve the issue?
Sir, I'm having connection issues.
Okay.
I found out.
Sige, sige. So, ano na lang just mamaya kasi siguro, kung hindi mo magamit yung desk tools, anyway, I'll give the code. It's used for descriptive statistics. Okay, so let's continue class. And take note, I'm starting here from a blank. There's no object here that I have loaded. So let me import the wage data set. We can make use of the read underscore CSV function, which comes from the package readr, which is automatically also loaded when you load tidyverse. Diba si tidyverse class? It's a family of packages. So we'll have an example later on of the use of a package in tidyverse. Tidyverse itself is a package, and when you install and load tidyverse, it loads automatically other packages with it. Okay, so let me load the dataset wage. Okay, making use of the read underscore CSV. And then the good thing about using projects is that I don't have to identify the file location. Automatically, R will understand that this. So let me just show you. If I get the working directory, okay, get working directory, and it will tell you that it's in my case, it's under C users admin desktop, and it's here, and it's in to multiple regression, which is the R project folder that I created. So the working directory is the project itself, the folder that we created for the project, and that's why we're able to access the data, because that data is inside the folder. Okay, so if I run this, okay, you can now see that it will now load here. Okay, so if we view this, so there are 10 variables of interest, and then there are 526, first eight observations done, 8 columns, which means 8 variables, 526 observations. And then let's get the structure always, class. So, siguro dito lang muna natin lagay. Let's put it here, examining the data. We can write here structure, wage. So the structure is, we discussed this last time, it's a data frame, okay? It's a special data frame. And these are, the dollar here signifies that this is coming from that object wage, and you can only access these vectors, these columns, through wage. Okay, and then it gives us the type of data. Education is numeric, race is character, gender is character, civil status is character, number of dependents is numeric, hourly wage is numeric. It also gives us the type. Education is double, it's quantitative. Race is a character. Okay, it gives us the class. I mean, okay, class and type. Okay, ang class niya numeric, ang type double. All right, then we can also get the summary of our data. Let me just put it here. Summary of wage. So this gives us the number summary depending on the type, the class of data. If it's a numeric data, then it will give us the minimum, the first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, the maximum. This is the 100th quartile. This is the 0th quartile, minimum natin. And the mean, okay, for all the numerical variables. For the character variables, categorical variables, you have only the count. Okay. Of course, you can also get the levels, the different types of the different factors that you have in your character. So, for example, if I tabulate si wage, dollar, si race, no? You can see that sa race, there are two levels, non-white at saka white. And we can do the same for the others. Let me copy this. Dollar. So aside from that, gender. And let's also copy dollar. Let me delete this. Delete. And then type dollar. Civil status. Okay, running this tree. Okay, we have a tabulation here, a frequency distribution of the different levels of your character or categorical variables. Any questions so far, class? Okay, kindly chat, please, if you're able to follow along. I'm going through this quickly because we have discussed this last time. This is more of a review for us. Kindly chat, please, if okay so far tayo. If you're able to follow along, class. Okay, good. All right, thank you. Okay, so we can now go to, I told you that part of your assignment is to research on descriptive statistics. So let's just have some of them. For example, from the psych package, we have the describe function. Okay, so let's have a description of the wage. It will give us some summary statistics. Okay, so what I don't like here is that the categorical variables, there was a computation of the mean, standard deviation. So nag-zeros and ones lang yan. So nothing to glean from this. So that's something that I don't want from this function, the describe function. Although it gives us some other computations, like the mean absolute deviation, the minimum, the maximum, the range, which is just the difference between your maximum and your minimum. The skewness, so you can see here, okay, if the higher the value, okay, for example, itong 2.10, which is number 3, 2.10 means that this is skewed to the right, and skewed to the right means that there's a concentration of your data to the left, opposite kasi yung skewed. Kurtosis tells us of the peakedness of the middle values of your data. 4.63, so medyo mataas to, no? So this is what we call leptokurtic. Mataas yung middle ano natin, yung peakedness ng middle values natin. Okay, yung iba naman, it depends on how this was computed, and we will have to check kasi yung ibang software like kailangan i-benchmark natin to sa 3. Kasi yung 3 will be mesocortic, which means approximates a standard normal distribution. Okay, all right, so we have here the standard error also. So these are some of the descriptive statistics on a per variable basis. Okay, aside from meron ding described sa sa HMISC, no? HMISC, that's why it's important to know where it's coming from. HMISC also has a described function, and if you put that, okay, what I like about the HMISC described function is that it already classifies it, no? Okay, by variable na siya, no? So sabi dito, the wage data set has 8 variables of 526 observations. So you have here on a per variable basis, education muna. So that's the number of observations, ilan yung missing, ilan yung distinct. Okay, and we have here the mean, and then we have here the 5th percentile, the 10th percentile. This is the median, this is the 90th percentile, etc. So may lowest values, highest values. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This refers to, okay, ito yung value natin, yung 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tapos yung frequency niya. Okay, and then yung proportion. So ito class yung mga values in education from 0 up to 18, and then it creates a frequency distribution. Ilan yung 10? So 30. Ilan yung 11? 29. Okay, you can see here that most of the values are concentrated at the mean or the median. Although meron dito yung 12, 198. Ang mean niya is 12.56. 12.56. Kaya ang concentration ng data niya dito sa around 12. And that's also true for the other variables. Ito yung experience. Okay, so tenure. And then you can see here sa mga categorical variables, yung race. Okay, it gives us yung number of observations, ilan yung missing, ilang levels to ilan yung distinct, dalawa. And then it gives us a breakdown of the different levels. No? Non-white 54, white 472. And then it gives us a proportion. Ilang percent dun sa sample natin, non-white. So that's 54 out of the sum of 54 and 472. No? And then around 90% is white. Okay, so this is what I like about the HMISC describe function. Although kulang siya ng ibang wala siyang skewness, wala siyang standard error, but what it lacks as far as other computation is concerned, it compensates for how it's presented. Okay? All right. So aside from that, let's have another example. Kasi maraming as I said, part of your assignment really is to take a look at what are the functions that can be used for descriptive statistics. Of course, class, when you do your work, when you do your exams or your take-home exams, some regression, I don't want you to be just generating this. I have seen some students just put this in the paper, no? Yung ganyan lang. No discussion at all. Okay? And then just be selective. Hindi naman lahat kailangan yan. So you'll just have to select which are the most important ones. And then, based on your judgment, no? Of course, unang-una, yung dependent variable natin, dapat talagang kasama yan. So in this case, yung hourly wage, ito. Okay, dapat kasama sa discussion yan. All right, so psych also has another, si psych, pwede rin nating, meron din siyang describe by, yan. Ano yung describe by? It gives us, pwede nating i-ano dito, yung comparison, no? So, let's take a look at this. Ginagamit natin si wage, and then from wage, kunin natin yung wage and let's see. So, it will compare, let's say, gender. Gender, let's see what this will give us. Described by si wage, but split into gender, by gender siya. So, if I run this, all right. So, what do you have here? So, naka-split yung female at saka male. Okay, so sa una dito, this refers to your female. Ito yung mga details about the female. So, ang average education of female is 12.32 as compared to male, 12.79. In terms of hourly wage, if we take a look at this one, sa ilalim, ito yung hourly wage. Ang average ni, this is the male, no? 7.10 kay male. And then si female is, dito, let me increase this. Okay, si female, 4.59 lang, no? As you can see here. So yung unang, the first sets here, the first set is for the female. Ito yun. The second set is for the male. So here you can describe by splitting the groups. So you can do this also if you want, example lang tayo. How about by race? Tingnan natin ha. Control C, Control V. Let's do this by race. Tingnan natin kung may difference sa hourly wage in terms of yung race natin kasi white and non-white. No? So if I run that, Control Enter, once again, we will have two distinct values here. So ang average ni, okay, let's see. So non-white muna, tapos white. So based on this data, ang average ni non-white hourly wage niya is 5.48. Okay? Tapos ang education niya 11.87. Mga non-white to. Experience 17.59. Let's take a look at the white. 5.48, 11, 17. So ito, 5.94. So mas mataas on the average yung hourly wage ng mga white people. 11, 12 dun sa non-white. At saka experience 16, si non-white 17. So from there we can see a sabihin nating disparity. No? Now we can test, of course, whether the difference is statistically significant. We can only say that numerically may difference, pero we will have to test whether that's statistically significant. Yung difference ng, let's say, hourly wage for the non-white, non-white yung una, which is this one, and the white people. Okay, there's also another way to do this. Tingnan natin. You can, tingnan natin. So, let me copy this, Control C, Control V. Describe by, let's see. Pwede natin gawing hourly wage para nakafocus lang tayo doon. And then, tingnan natin. Tilde. So, hourly wage as described by hourly wage as described by, let's say, gender. And then we have to define yung data natin is equal to wage. Okay, let's see. So it can be done this way. So you're comparing, kasi kanina lahat, no? Lahat ng nasa wage. Ito gusto lang natin yung hourly wage. So let's see what happens here. Okay. So I have an error here. Cannot be first or type double. Okay. Okay, so hindi pala pwede ito, no? Data is equal to wage. I wonder why. Hourly wage on gender. List object cannot be one more time. Okay, so may syntax error ako dito. No? So let me just check this. No? Tulungan nyo lang din ako mag-check kung saan kaya nagkamali dito. No? So let's leave that for now. Okay, kasi baka magtagal tayo hanapin yung syntax error ko. Okay, so we tried psych, we tried AHMISC. May iba pang class? May iba pang mga packages about SCIM-R. Iba sa SCIM-R, andyan si SCIM. Okay, si SCIM, this will also give us descriptive statistics. Okay. So ito yung mga variables natin. 5 rows. Okay. So you can see here that an advantage of the SCIM is that may data summary siya. No? Ang name ng data natin is wage, number of rows 526. And then it gives a breakdown of the different type of data. Character natin 3, numeric 5. Okay, and then let's take a look at this one. So it splits the description by type, no? Or class. So dito lahat ng mga categorical variables, ang time missing. Okay, although ito class medyo again minimum maximum, this does not have any meaning. Tapos number of unique, dalawa yung levels. Okay, and then mas may meaning of course yung dito kasi andito yung standard error. Okay, this is the minimum value, P0, and then the average, standard deviation, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, 100th quartile, and then you have here a plot of the histogram. Okay, so we can see here that dito yung skewness ng mga data natin dito, mga positive, no? Positive skewness dito, which we saw here. Diba nakita natin dito yan sa, for example, anong data to? This data, education and experience. Education and experience, we can see here that based on the diagram, so there's a concentration of the data to the left, no? Kaya nga yung median natin dito 13.5, median natin 13.5, and yung mean 17. 17 yung mean, ang median 13.5. Okay, so ibig sabihin nito, ang skewness nito is positive. Skewed to the right siya, which means that there's a concentration of your data to the left. Okay, kita natin dito no, sa histogram na to. Mas concentrated yung data to the left here. So that makes it skewed to the right. Okay, so all right, so sige, one more, ano pa? Ano pa pwede nating anuhin? So we looked at SCIM-R. Yung sa desk kanina, no? We downloaded yung desk tools. So ito class, meron ding mga function to, no? Ang desk tools, we can make use of ano niya? Describe. Yan, describe. Okay. Kaso capital dito, no? Yung tsaka DESC lang. Okay, and then we can be particular here. Let's say desk ng wage. at saka, let's say, hourly wage. Let's see, unahin natin yung dependent variable natin. Using desk tools, what will this give us? Okay, so I find this one, yung desk tools package, one of the best in terms of giving descriptive stat. May limitation siya, pero this is the only one that gives a good plot of your specific variable. So ito, una natin, makikita natin dito, ano mga binibigay dito. Alright, so we have here the number of observations, lahat ng mga missing values, ilan yung unique, okay, may mean, okay, meron tayong this is the mean, tapos this is the minimum value. Yun nga lang, medyo hindi maganda yung pagkaan dito. Ano? So, maybe it's best to, let's try to run this here. Sometimes it's good to run this in your console. Let me page up. Page up. Page up. Okay, ba't ayaw? Let me just copy the code. This one. Control V. Okay, let me run this here. Delete ko na muna to. Yan. Okay, Control, Enter. Let's see if figure margins too large. So hindi siya nag-plot dito. Okay. If we take a look at this, okay, at least dito mas nakikita natin yung ano, no? Mas nakikita natin yung which number belongs to which item belongs to the number. Kasi dito kanina sa script window natin, sa source window natin, ang hirap i-pair. No? There, makikita natin yung range, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, interquartile range, skewness, kurtosis, etc. Okay, hindi nga lang siya mag-plot. But if I control D ko ulit, control enter, yan. So just increase the size of the plot. Okay, and one advantage of running your plots in the console is that you can zoom this, zoom. Okay, pwede nang i-export kagad here. Export, save as image or as PDF. Okay, for example, save as image natin. Okay, image format, file name, let's say desk descriptive ni HR hourly wage. All right? Directory dito din, no? So if I enter this, I can view the plot after saving. So i-save ko na lang dito. Okay, what's the advantage of that class? It should now be here. Ayan. Okay. So it saved it. Depende dun sa file I chose. Naka-PNG siya. So if I want to use this and copy paste this to wherever, kunyari sa Word, or if you're using other documents, meron ka nito. Okay, actually, you can give it a name. Tingnan natin, ha. You can give it a name. Desk, and then, let's see, main. Let's say frequency, plot for hourly wage. Told you. Ayan, no? Nagkaroon ng title. I placed here, frequently plot for hourly wage. So you can modify. Nagyan ko siya ng title kanina. So just for you to see. Here, no? Nilagyan ko ng title. Alright, so let me pause for a while. Mukhang marami na itong na-discuss ko, no? And of course, there are hundreds of other functionalities that you can use. So kindly chat, please, if you are able to follow. Any questions about the descriptive statistics? I didn't want to discuss this actually. However, just to make sure that you're equipped also, kasi baka iba sa inyo hindi ginawa yung assignment. So I decided to just discuss this briefly. Okay. Yes, Migs.
Sir, a quick question lang po. What does the scheme or function do po ulit?
Descriptive statistics din. Yan. Ito. Run natin to. Yung scheme. I'll run this. No? Take a look at the output. Scheme, wage. Yan. Kikita mo naman yung output eh. So number one, it gives us a summary of your data. Okay, ilang rows siya, ilang columns. Tapos it classifies your data according to the type of your variables. 3 character or categorical variable, 5 numeric. Okay, tapos walang grouping yung mga variables kasi pwedeng you can create your data in such a way that may automatic grouping sila, no? That can be done using dplyr. At tapos dito, mga statistics, naka-compartmentalize, naka-separate yung mga categorical variables at dito yung mga numeric. Yan. So, andyan, yung mga statistical metrics. Mean, standard deviation, minimum value, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, maximum value. And then you have a picture of the histogram. So, medyo makikita mo na si education, medyo may pagka normally distributed siya, no? Approximately. But others are not normally distributed. Okay, did that answer your question, Migs?
Clear na po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, sige. Any other questions, class? Okay, and then chat naman please if you're able to follow along. I'm not discussing this too much in descriptive statistics because I want you to also review yung descriptive statistics yun. This subject is not about descriptive statistics. This is about regression. So I will assume that medyo may alam na kayo sa descriptive statistics. If not class, then have a review because I'm sure you had other subjects before on that. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Okay. We discussed this last time. We said that you cannot plot. Okay. So here we would like to plot on the x-axis yung education, on the y-axis is hourly wage. And last time we said this will not work. Why will this not work? Because R does not recognize the object. To, di ba? Wala dito yung wage lang andi dito sa data natin. Here, education and hourly wage. Okay, so is it possible to plot this? Yes. Pero dapat maintindihan ni R kung ano yung education and hourly wage. So the way to do that is attach. I-attach natin si wage. So this will signal to R that all the variables that are mentioned here has something to do or are found in wage. So if I attach this, and then if I plot this, then this will work now. Mag-work na siya. Okay, and then we discussed this also last time. So if you want to remove the attachment, then you just detach. The disadvantage of attaching is that you cannot make use of other objects now. Okay, kasi magkakaroon ng confusion doon unless you specify. So you only use this if, for example, for the next steps, it will all be using the wage dataset. Okay, but usually marami tayong dataset na ginagamit, so it's not advisable to do that unless, as I said, in the next in the codes, the following codes, panay wage na yung gagamitin natin. Okay, so how do you remove the attachment? You detach. Okay, so dinetach ko, no? And if I run this again, okay, hindi na siya ulit mag-run. Okay, so let me just put this in. Okay, and then let me just run this correctly. Control C, Control V. So I have to identify wage dollar. So pag na-wage dollar tayo, class, lalabas dito yung mga variables under the data, under the object wage. So we're choosing education. And then same thing here. Delete ko muna to. Wage dollar. Okay, so make use of that dollar. And then choose your variable. Okay, so this will be read by R kasi naka-define yung education and hourly wage natin. And there you go. We have a plot. On the x-axis, the first variable dimension is your education. On the y-axis, our dependent variable, our outcome variable, our response variable is on the y-axis. And based on our study last time, you might be having a problem with this if we just use education as a predictor for hourly wage. Kasi mukhang may violation ng normality, no? Where it states that for every value of x, for every level value of x, the distribution of y should be normally distributed. So dito sa mga lower values ni education, nava-violate yung normality conditions. Dito sa higher, meron pa. No? Kasi yung concentration nga yata ng mga values dito sa higher levels of education. Okay? So that comprises our plot. Okay, and then we said that we can first have our, okay, so here, okay, ito mag-aan ng, saka na natin ano ito, no? This will take some time to discuss. So let me go back now to the regression. So ito magagamit pala natin class yung pairs.panels from the site package. Okay, in order to create a correlation between all the variables. And we said that it's always intuitive to do that. It's always important that we plot the correlation among the variables because based on the assumptions of classical linear regression model, we want that there should be a strong linear relationship between your dependent variable and your independent variable, but not between the independent variables. Okay, so let's create an object called mod1, and then we use the LM function. This is linear model. First, we identify the dependent variable, and this is regressed on or associated with education, and then we identify the data. Data is equal to wage. If we run this, there will now be created an object called model1. So model1 is a list, and it contains lots of items here. So you have here andito yung coefficients, residuals, effects, fitted values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 elements, 12, some are vectors, okay, some are list. Okay, di ba kasi ang list, it can be a combination of both vectors and list. So if we take a look at this one, may list dito, tsaka itong mga to double integer, mga vectors yan. Okay. And this is just a review of what we discussed before. We can get the names. So sa names, ipapakita sa atin dyan, ano laman, ito yung 12, no? Coefficients, etc. And we can access those. So for example, mod1, that's the name of our object, mod1, dollar. Okay, pag nag-dollar ulit ako, magkaka-intelligence tayo dito, no? It will tell us what's inside our mod1 object. Okay, so you can click coefficients, and then it will give you the intercept and education. Intercept and the parameter value. Okay. All right. Then, if we want to generate the model itself, yung mga values niya, we can use the summary function. Or another way is put this in parentheses, itong model 1. If we put this in parentheses, open and close, it will be the same as this function, summary mod 1. Okay, pareho lang yan. Okay, so let me just run this, yung summary. Okay, and I think this is where we stopped last time. Okay, so it took us mga 1 hour, no, to have a quick review, although may mga nadagdag naman ng mga topics. All right, so let's take a look at this. So this is the summary of our module 1. First, the call for the formula, we're regressing hourly wage on education using the wage object. Here you have some descriptive statistics of your residuals. Okay, so you can see here that yung median natin dito, negative 0.9674. And if you get the mean of model 1 dollar residuals, compare natin yung mean at saka yung median, control B. So notice that ang average class, diba? Ang average ng residuals natin is always 0. Diba? 0 yung residuals natin, average na. Okay, so ang median natin is 0.9674, negative 0.9674. Okay, so also let's take a look at the coefficients. Okay, ito, no? Intercept and education. So since we're just using a simple linear regression model because isa lang yung natin predictor. Okay, isa lang yung parameter na binibigay sa atin. Ito, no? Negative 0.90485, and then education is 0.4136. All right, so we can actually, from your stat, you learned that this can be computed. So i-share ko lang yung formula niyan just for the purposes of our discussion here. Let me give you the LaTeX formula. Okay, share ko sa inyo. Tapos paki-copy nyo sa ano nyo, sa R nyo. All right. So this is the formula for B1 parameter. Coefficient for B1 parameter. Okay. All right. So ang B1 natin is, ang value natin is this one, no? 0.54136. So just to satisfy our curiosity class. Okay, let's take a look at this formula. So based on statistics, ang sabi, ang formula na to, beta 1, this is your predicted value for 1, is equal to the summation of, this is actually the covariance, no? X sub I minus X, and Y sub I minus X bar, Y sub I minus Y bar. Okay, so let's try to compute nga natin to, class. Sige, let's use our tagalin ko dito, ha. Okay, so how do we compute this in R? So summation to, no? Okay, maybe let's get that product first. The product of this is, ano yung X sub I natin? Okay, X sub I is the education value. Ito yung ano natin, di ba? Predictor education. However, kailangan natin kunin yung education, di ba? Wage, dollar, education. So lahat to kailangan natin wage, dollar, education. Wage, ito mean ng wage, dollar, education. Ito naman, hourly wage to, di ba? So lahat dito kailangan may wage, dollar sign. So this is one instance when it makes sense to attach yung wage natin para hindi tayo gamit ng wage na data, right? So let me repeat, we want to see if this indeed is a formula to compute for your coefficient for your parameter. So i-attach ko yung wage, that means lahat ng gagamitin ko na variable should be from wage. Okay, so tingnan natin let me start with this one first. So this is x sub I. What's x sub I? X sub I is your education, right? So may iintindihan niya ni R. So education, that comes from your wage data set minus mean of education. Sige, isa-isayin natin, no? Para mas madali, no? All right. So if you compute for this one class, it will give us kasi ang education maraming values yan, di ba? Tapos lahat yan i-minus natin sa average ng education. If we run this, okay, that will give us 526 values. Right? Yan, kasi meron tayong education. If you take a look at this, education, 526 lahat ito. And then minus the average of education. Okay, so you have now here 526 ng values yan. Okay, clear yung class? Is that clear, class? Please tell me, class, if I'm discussing too fast. Take note that education is a vector. So there are 526 values of education. And then ima-minus natin yung average of education, isa lang yan. Okay, so each of the elements of education will be subtracted by the mean of the education. So we will be having 526 values of education. Okay. About the others, clear ba? Okay, so balikan natin, class, yung yung formula. So this is x minus x bar, no? Let me close this. Okay, so that takes care of this one. And then we multiply it by times. Okay, i-close ko naman to. Si y sub I natin, that's our hourly wage. Ba? Hourly wage minus mean of hourly wage. All right, so meron na tayong 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then what do we do with this, class? What do we do with this? We sum it up. No? So lalagyan ko dito ng sum ng product na to. Okay. Sum ng vector na education minus mean of education. Multiply that by hourly wage minus mean of hourly wage. So that takes care of your numerator. So let me just control this. And then we have one value. Kasi sinum up niya lahat. So cross product niya muna to. And then in-add niya lahat. No? Okay, is that clear, class? Okay, chat naman please kung clear siya. This is just a quick review of your stat, no, dati. Okay, we're just, at least alam natin, class, kung saan nanggagaling itong mga values na to. Itong estimate na to, it comes from a formula. Ito yan. And where did this formula come from? It came from the simplification ng OLS, no? Di na natin titignan yun. Suffice for us na ito yung formula na yan. And then, kunin pa natin to. How about this one? X minus X bar. Actually, ito yon, di ba? This is X minus X bar. So, copy ko to. Oops. I'll copy this. Control C, Control V. So, this is X minus X bar. All right? And then, X minus X bar, and then everything squared. Ang kasi, no? Yung difference ng X minus X bar, square natin, and then isum natin siya. I'm going to put here sum, open parenthesis, and close parenthesis. Okay, in case you're having difficulty, class, Control C, i-chat ko lang sa inyo to. So that those who are having some difficulty with the formula, okay, you can copy it. Alright, ito naman, class, i-sum up natin yung difference ng mean at saka yung ng X education ng mean niya, tapos naka-square yun. Naka-square yung difference, and then naka-sum. So if we run this, we have this figure. Okay, so let me share this with you in case you want to have a copy of the formula. All right, so that leaves us now with the numerator divided by the denominator. Okay, so this one, Control C, Control V divided by, or pwede rin namang i-copy nyo lahat to, diba? So let's do that. No? For purposes of Control C, so let me copy the formula for the numerator and then divided by the formula for the denominator, which is this one. So yan. Okay, or just dividing 2179 by 4025. Okay, so that gives us 0.5413. And the coefficient for your parameter education is 0.454136. Okay? All right, so we were able to show that yung value ng parameter natin, coefficient niya is this one. Okay, how about the value of the intercept? It's a lot easier, no? Unahin muna natin kunin to. Okay, so let me just put here, okay, copy ko lang to, Control C, B, I'm going to give it a name, B1, Alt minus, Control V. All right, so I just gave this formula a name, B1, Control Enter. So I now have B1 here. May B1 na tayo, no? Yan. Okay, so our B sub 0 now is mean ng hourly wage, okay, which is this one, minus B1. This is your B1, di ba? Multiplied by mean ng education. There. Okay, this is one instance, class, na very advantageous na ina-attach natin data set. Imagine if we could keep on adding here wage, dollar, wage, dollar, wage, dollar. Diba? Magiging very confusing yung formula natin. Lagay, yan. Okay, so this gives us, okay, ano yung beta null? Print natin. Negative 0.904. Okay, which is so si model 1 natin. Ito, di ba? Right, class? Okay, let me pause for a while and get your feedback, please. How is it so far, class? Feedback, please, class, so that we can maximize the time. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Isa lang nag-clear about the others. Okay. Right, thank you. Okay, so let's have a quick review ulit na naman class. Ano ibig sabihin nito? What's the meaning of this? Negative 0.90485. The intercept is the value of your dependent variable hourly wage when all your predictors, when all your independent variables are all equal to 0. So in this instance, it's the value of hourly wage when education is equal to 0. 0 years of education. Now, we don't put too much practical or physical significance to your intercept. Besides the fact that your intercept is not significant. Diba? How do we know it's not significant? It's not significant because the p-value is less than your ano class in level of significance. And usually, by default, ang level of significance is 0.05. Where did that come from? Well, it came from Robert Fisher. Okay? Siya yung nagsimula ng 0.05 na level of significance. As to why it's 0.05, walang nakaka-explain, no? Parang naging ano na lang. Yun lang inassume ni Robert Fisher. Tapos it caught on hanggang naging parang accepted na accepted norm. And many have attempted to explain at least bakit 0.05. But from the initiation of it, hindi naman talaga parang random lang yan. No? That's why you can see also in other studies, depending on the nature of the study, yung iba 10% yung level of significance. May nakikita nga ako na 15%. So it depends on the nature of the study. Okay, here, the p-value is 0.187. Okay. Nawawala ba ako, class? Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So sabi natin, ito, when the P is low, when we say low, it means it's less than your level of significance, which is the norm is 0.05. So ito, the p-value is greater than 0.05. So ang conclusion natin dito, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Ano ba yung null hypothesis dito? Ang null hypothesis natin is beta null is equal to 0. Okay, so we're testing this hypothesis that your intercept is equal to 0. However, we fail to reject this. Hindi natin ma-reject to. No? All right. However, in the model, we still include itong intercept na to. So that has been the standard practice. Even if your intercept is not statistically significant, you still put that in the model. You still include that. Okay. All right. Ang kaibahan, class, itong education. Kasi ito yung predictor variable natin to, no?
Sir,
Yes.
wala po yung screen niyo, sir.
Ano, wala yung screen? Okay. Sorry. Siguro nag-ano yung ano ko, class. Nag-disengage yung ano ko sa internet. Okay, thank you for informing me. Okay, so as I was saying, class, ito yung p-value natin, ano? And our p-value for our intercept is greater than 0.05. Anong inference natin dito? We fail to reject, no? The null hypothesis that beta null is equal to 0. Okay, on the other hand, dito naman sa education, since this is less than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis that's equal, your P1, which is education, is equal to 0. So there's strong statistical reason to believe that the value of the education, the coefficient education, has a non-zero value. And in fact, the average is 0.54. And what's the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that for every 1 unit increase in education, in this case, it's the dimension is here. So for every 1 year increase in education, there is a 0.54 units increase in your dependent variable ceteris paribus. All things being considered equal, all things considered the same. So, isang year ng education, increase ng education will yield to a 0.54 increase sa hourly wage. So, ibig sabihin, pag 2 years nag-increase ng education, okay, mag-i-increase yung hourly wage ng 1.08 kasi times 2 to. Okay? And that's statistically significant. Statistically significant siya at what level? Notice the 3 stars here. If you take a look at yung ano ni R, okay, let's take a look at this. No? So the values are between 0 and 1. Okay? If your p-value is less than 0.001, then it will get 3 stars. So ito less than 0.001, kaya 3 stars siya. So this means that your p-value is significant at the 0.001 level. Okay, kung dalawang stars lang to, it means that it's significant at the 1%, 0.01. Okay? Also, if you get 1 star, significant at 5% level siya. And if you get a dot only, it means it's significant at 0.1. Okay? So ito yung tatlong levels, no? Significant at 0.001 or 0.1%, 3 stars yan. Significant at 1%, 2 stars. Significant at 5%, 1 star. Significant at 10%, dot lang siya. Okay? Now, we'd like also to know how the standard error was computed. So I'm going to give you the formula, class, to compute for the standard error. Okay. So I want you to practice ito. Control C. Bigay ko sa inyo yung formula. Okay. For an exercise, okay, gawin nyo tong formula na to, class, sigma squared here. This is the variance of your residual. So dapat kunin nyo yung var ng residual. No? And the var of the residual can be obtained from your model 1. Right, class? So take note lang, ha? Okay, just to show you, this one, to compute for the standard error, ito. Okay, sigma squared, variance ng ano yan. So var ni model 1 dollar residuals. There. So that's how you compute for this. That's the variance of the residuals. So I'm giving the value already to you, 11.39178. Of course, you know N, di ba? N is the number of rows ng wage data set. You know this, no? Average ni education squared. You know this. Ginawa na, ito, education minus mean of education squared and then sum. Okay, so if you perform this, you'll get this one, class. Standard error. 0.68497. Yan ang standard error niya. And then I'll also share with you the standard error for the intercept. Control C. Okay, magko-compare notes lang tayo next meeting. I'm not going to give you, class, the formula. I want you to practice that as an exercise. I'll just show you what I did, okay? And then, but I'm not going to give what I did, okay? I'll just entertain questions, but not give the formula because I want you to do this on your own. All right, so you have now the standard error, no? So ibig sabihin, class, mako-compute to. We can compute for this, we can compute for this. Okay, next, the t-value. The t-value can also be computed, class. Pwede natin makompute yan. Okay, so tingnan natin, no? How do you compute for the t-value? Very easy. Kung meron na tayong estimate at saka meron na tayong standard error, then mako-compute natin to. Okay, so i-compute natin. Kunin na lang natin, class, yung model 1 coefficients. No? Okay, coefficient. So I'm computing for the t-value here, negative 1.321. So model 1 coefficient, and then this is, dalawa lang naman yung coefficient natin, di ba? If you take a look at model 1 here, model 1, ito yung coefficients natin, double, dalawa, 0.905 at saka 0.541. Di kunin natin, i-subset natin to, bracket 1. Okay? If I run this, oops, I'm going to get Yan, di ba? Yan ang first coefficient natin dito. Okay? So, saan na tayo? And then, kasi class yung t-value is equal to, that's your coefficient, control C, control B, coefficient divided by the standard error. Okay? Let's assume that we computed for the standard error. Oops, wala. Control C, control D, divide. Alright, so I'm dividing yung 0.90485 divided by this one. Okay, I get the t-value, 1.321. Okay, so actually you can also get this. If you know the t-value class, if you know the t-value, then we can get the probability. And the function to do that is pt, probability ni t. Okay, so I'd like to leave that as an exercise for you. Hanapin your class and prove that indeed the probability is 0.187. And then we'll just compare notes next meeting. Okay, kasi I'd just like to I have 3 minutes, no? Gusto ko lang pumunta sa susunod na model. Ang model natin, class, dito sa ilalim, here, it means that 16.48% of the variation of your dependent variables, hourly wage, can be explained by education. So yun lang yung kaya niyang i-explain. No? Yun yung kaya niyang explain. So the other 83%, hindi niya kayang explain yun. Okay, so relatively, medyo mababa yung descriptive power ni education on hourly wage. And also ito, meron tayong information dito. This is what we call the overall goodness of fit. Overall goodness of fit. Okay, ano yan? Okay, it's also a statistical test, no? Wherein overall means beta null is equal to beta 1 is equal to 0. So that's our null hypothesis. So may p-value tayo dito, di ba? Okay, so ang null hypothesis natin, overall siya, combined, no? Dito kasi, individual yung test natin dito. Dito, combined. So beta null is equal to beta 1 is equal to 0. And ang ginagamit dito, class, f-stat. So dito, f-stat 103.4, dalawang degrees of freedom. I'll explain this next meeting. P-value is practically less than 0.05, practically 0 siya. So ang assumption natin dito, ang inference natin dito, we reject the null hypothesis that beta null is equal to beta 1 is equal to 0. Okay? So there's strong statistical reason to believe that at least one of them is equal to 0. Okay, so is our model okay? Yeah, mukhang significant naman sa education. Pero ang question, hanggang dyan na lang ba tayo? Model 1 lang ba tayo? Up to model 1 up. And this one, I forgot to share with you. This is also the standard error of your, pakikopya lang din to, class. Standard error ng parameter natin. Okay? Which is your, here, ito, no? 0.05 dapat ang, yan, standard error na, 0.05. Okay, so we're dissecting really the regression output here. All right, so let me just end in this class. Okay, Control Alt I. Okay, kasi yung model natin, iisa lang yan. So if I do model 2, LM, hourly wage, regressed on. So ano yung mga parameters natin? Pakidictate nga. Education, plus experience, ano pa? Plus race, plus gender, plus union, ano pa, class? Plus, ako na lang. Hindi naman kayo sumasagot eh. Education, experience, tenure, race. Baka gusto niyo akong tulungan, class, kasi magta-time na. Education, experience, tenure, plus race, plus gender. What else, class?
Sir.
Civ status, no? May union ba? Race, gender, civ status, ano pa? Ano pa, class?
Nom-dep po.
Number of dependents. Okay? So tama na ba yung regressors natin? Num-dep. Num-dep. Right. And then, data is equal to wage. Alright, so we're including all, no? Lagyan ko lang ng konting space para ano. Kasi masyadong dikit-dikit. Para medyo makita natin. No? Anyway, paki-check class kung tama yung ano, tama yung mga variables natin. Kompleto na ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right. So let's, if I model this, and then automatically ipapaprint ko na siya. Open and close parentheses here. Okay. Run. Okay. So ito na class yung ano natin, no? Okay. Pinakita lang dito yung values ng ano natin, ng mga coefficients. So let me get the summary of this. Summary ni mod 2. All right. So now you have here the different predictors. No? And you can see here that some of them are significant, some are not significant. So next meeting class, i-discuss natin to. No? And I just want to point out that you can see here that the multiple R squared, 37% increased. Kanina 16% lang. So by using more predictors, you're able to explain more the variation of your dependent variable hourly wage. Mas na-explain natin siya. No? Dito. Naging 37% kanina, 16% lang. Okay, and some variables are not significant. And we will explain what this is. Ano tong race white na to, gender male, etc. Okay? All right. So let me